Hi, Melina from Yo Geek here. So this week, we're still continuing on with the hip and low back goodies. So today I wanted to show some pretty common strength moves that are used in a lot of workout programs that are out there right now. One of them being the conventional deadlift. It's a fantastic posterior chain exercise, but when using a bar, it can be a little complicated because there's kind of a lot that's going on in order to activate and engage the muscles correctly. So a lot of times the low back ends up taking the load in these exercises. So I'm going to show you a little bit of form, function, and technique to make sure that you don't hurt yourself. And I'll show it with the bar and then also a kettlebell as well if you don't have a bar. So this particular bar has the bumper plates, these big tall plates, which is actually really nice because it helps bring the bar into a better position higher up the shin. So if you don't have a set that has bumper plates, then I would figure out some way to maybe safely bring that bar, if you have it, up higher onto so that it's more shin level. But just make sure it's sturdy and it doesn't wibble wobble. So for the purposes of this exercise today, I didn't go super heavy with this. I'm not a CrossFitter. That's not my goals. You do you. So for me, I'm not going super, super heavy on this, but being really mindful of how I'm engaging. So with a conventional deadlift, what I see a lot of people do is put that load into their low back instead of hinging at the hips. So that's like if you were put your hands in your hips and you bend forward, so you're kind of like this, you get this little crease. So you're doing this hip hinge versus like more of a squat for this. So a little trick that is helpful is thinking of pushing the ground away versus trying to pull it up. I see that happen a lot where, especially if you're new to this exercise, people will have this grip. So you want palms facing back towards your shins. Now there are several different grip techniques, but for the purposes of this, especially if you're new to it, this is probably the easiest one to master. And then also when you change your grip position, it kind of alters how your body moves, which is not bad, but we're gonna start with baby steps. So with the bar close to your shins, and you want to think that as you're pushing the ground away and bringing this along with you, that you're trying to almost like scrape the bar against the shins. Obviously, you don't literally do that, but you want to keep the bar really close. Another thing I see happen is people let the bar kind of fall away, and then they're lifting like this, which all, again, loads into that low back. So for setup, you want knees, feet, ankles, toes, about hip point distance apart. Should be able to wiggle your toes so you're hinging at the hips coming forward, finding your grip. And right here, you want to activate your back. So you're not trying to lift it this way. Your arms are nice and straight. You feel your upper back engaged. Booty is nice and strong back there. Think of trying to wiggle your toes a little bit so you're weighting in the heels. And then as you take a nice big inhale to prepare, you're going to exhale as you lift up. And then guide it back down. Think scraping. Okay? So you're pushing the ground away, engaging this posterior chain so it goes back to that core activation we talked about, learning how to notice when the hamstrings and glutes are turned on, and you're going to push away and lift up. So we'll do that one more time. So find your overhand grip. You're not doing anything weird with the neck. You're just kind of looking out, keeping a nice neutral spine, hinging at the hips, having the arms nice and ready, upper back engaged. And you do a little squeeze of the glutes at the top. Slide it back down. So squeeze at the top with the glutes doesn't mean this. It means as you're coming up with this, you're nice and strong and you get this squeeze. And that, again, with the core activation and all that, is going to help strengthen that posterior chain as well as protect that low back because your legs are the ones that's taking the load, the glutes, the hamstrings, little bit of the quads. So with kettlebell, I didn't bring my super yummy big one down, so this is kind of a little guy. But with the kettlebell, you want to think of putting it actually between your legs, back by your heels. So again, this is going to help set you up for that hip hinge, nice form back. You're going to have a little softness in the knees for both exercises. Press through, come up, squeeze at the top. Controlled on the way down. It's not necessarily an eccentric movement on the way down, but you want it controlled. So yes, when you're lifting heavier and things like that, and I see it a lot in CrossFit, there will be a drop of the weights. You'll see that in gyms a lot. That's not really my jam, so there's that. So once again, with kettlebell or a dumbbell, you could do this with a dumbbell, is you're gonna place the kettlebell dumbbell between your legs, back by the heels. Back is nice and long. You have that nice, lovely hip hinge going on, activating through that upper back, core is engaged. Nice big inhale as you exhale, come up, little squeeze at the top. And control down, and when you come down, you're gonna bring it back between the heels. And press up. And back down. It's kind of like a dwinging bird. So, things to remember, hip hinge. So you're hinging forward, little softness in the knees. You're not going to a full squat. It's just so that you can activate those hamstrings and activate that posterior chain. And then you're going to push the ground away versus trying to lift the bar up. Upper back is engaged, so you're nice and locked. Here, upper back is engaged, push the ground away, and come on up with a little glute squeeze. So those are two ways to include a deadlift in your workout. Like I said, I see them all over the place. You can do it without weight, you can do it with weight. I always recommend starting light and then figuring out your form. And if you don't have a bar, you can use dumbbells, you can use kettlebells, you can use a heavy backpack. Get creative. But yeah, so that's a great way to protect the lower back. Wonderful posterior chain exercise. I hope you enjoyed that, and shoot me a comment or a message if you want to see something specific or an area that you think needs a little love or you want a little help with, and we'll do it. All right, have a wonderful weekend, all of the good stuff. Much love.